In the last video, we saw how humanity began to spread across the earth after the flood, and how God used the confusion of languages to stop the erection of the Tower of Babel. These events show how God intervenes in human history. With Abraham, a new phase begins in which God chooses a person to lay the foundation for a great people through him. Abraham, who in the New Testament is also referred to as the father of the faithful and as a friend of God, was called by God to play a key role in human history. To understand his story as a whole, let us start with his father, Terah. Terah had 3 sons, Abram, Nahor, and Haran. In the beginning, Abraham was called Abram, which means father of nations or exalted father. Haran, Abram's brother, was the father of Lot, who was thus Abram's nephew. Abram married Sarai, but the two had a troublesome fate. Sarai was barren and could not bear children. One day, Terah decided to leave the city of Ur of the Chaldeans and move with his family to Canaan. Ur was a center of pagan worship, and Abram's relatives were idolaters as well. Although it was Terah's decision to leave Ur, it is clear that God directed this action. In this way, God led Abram out of an environment shaped by idolatry. Terah left with Abram, his daughter-in-law Sarai, and his grandson Lot, whose father had already died. But along the way, they stopped in Haran, where Terah eventually died at the old age of 205. After Terah's death, God spoke to Abram and gave him a commission. Get out of your country, from your family and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. These words contained a powerful promise, but they also required great faith and obedience. Without hesitation, Abram embarked on the journey at the age of 75. With him came his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, and all the servants and maids they had taken into service in Haran. They headed toward Canaan with all their possessions. They traveled throughout the land and came to the site of Shechem, as far as the terebinth tree of Moreh. At that time, the Canaanites inhabited the land. But the Lord appeared to Abram and promised, "To your descendants I will give this land." So Abram built an altar there to the Lord and called upon the name of the Lord. Subsequently, Abram moved on and traveled further and further south. But the journey became burdensome. A famine arose. Abram went down to Egypt to live there as a foreigner. Being there in Egypt, he feared for his life because Sarai was exceptionally beautiful. He said to her, "When the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife,' and they will kill me, but they will let you live. Please say you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, and that I may live because of you." Sarai was indeed his half-sister, but Abram lied because he feared for his life. And when Pharaoh's officials saw her, they praised her before Pharaoh. So the woman was taken to Pharaoh's house. Pharaoh gave Abram many gifts, including sheep and cattle, as well as male and female servants. Abram thrived because of Sarai, but God struck Pharaoh and his household with great plagues. When the truth came to light, Pharaoh called Abram to him and said, "What have you done to me? Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and go." So Pharaoh released Abram and Sarai. Abram returned to the south of the land of Canaan with his wife and his nephew Lot. They also took all their possessions with them. By now, Abram had become very rich with many cattle, silver and gold, and he moved further and further from the south country to Bethel, to the place where he had formerly built the altar. There he called upon the name of the Lord. The prosperity of Abram and Lot, who also had large herds of cattle, eventually led to tensions. Their herdsmen quarreled over the grazing areas. Abram said, "There must be no quarrel between you and me, and between my herdsmen and yours, for we are brothers." And he proposed a solution. "Please separate from me. If you take the left, then I will go to the right. Or if you go to the right, then I will go to the left." And Lot lifted his eyes and saw all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. Lot chose the fertile land along the Jordan and settled in the neighboring cities to the east, as far as Sodom, while Abram remained in Canaan. But the people of Sodom were wicked and sinned gravely against the Lord. After Lot had parted from Abram, the Lord spoke to Abram again. "Look up now as far as you can see in every direction. For I am going to give it all to you and your descendants. And I am going to give you so many descendants that like dust they can't be counted. Arise, walk in the land through its length and its width, for I give it to you." So Abram went to live near the terebinth trees of Mamre at Hebron, where he pitched his tents. There he built an altar to the Lord.